Hello, welcome to this episode of Story and Things, a book podcast.
I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli.
And what do you want to talk about today before we get into it?
Before we get into it, oh my God. Okay, so to preface what I'm about to ask.
Okay.
So we've read a lot of retellings.
We really have. Can you name them all?
No, because it's that
Neon
many.
Gods.
Malice, Misrule.
Lore?
It's a lot of retellings. Mm-hmm. And
and so now you have a question.
Because I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay.
Do you think retellings should be considered... Oh, I'm not connected to this question, by the way, so I'm sorry if I offend you, but I'm not trying to. Do you think retelling should be considered standalone books or fan fiction?
You mean standalone as in it's its own thing?
Yeah.
That's difficult because some retellings are very much their own thing.
Yeah.
And they just happen to have similar themes as the original.
But it goes down to even like similar names, similar settings.
And then certain things have to happen because that's how the original happened.
Yes.
Honestly, I can see it being described as fan fiction. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I used to know someone. That
I know who you're going to say.
Because the thing is, really? Because the thing is, I have no problem with fan fiction, and I know you don't either. Mm-hmm. If you write fan fiction, oh my gosh, good on you. Because that's like free literature for people to read, and you're doing it out of the kindness of your own heart and because you feel so passionate about it.
And because you love writing. That's amazing.
That's amazing. I used to have a friend who would write, but was always inspired by certain like shows or movies. Mm-hmm. And I had read one of their writings and said like, oh, is this like a fan fiction? And I meant it just like as a question.
Yeah.
And they got very, very offended. Do you remember when I told you about that?
Yes, I do remember.
How do you feel about that?
But this was the same person who would also look down on people who would write fan fiction, right?
Yes.
Because they thought, that's not real writing.
It is real writing.
I know. I don't think your friend realized that they were doing the exact same thing. They were like in denial. Or your ex-friend. Not sure what your relationship is now.
I just don't talk to them anymore. But I think that retellings can fall under this realm of like fan fiction. But specifically this retelling, I don't think I would call it fan fiction.
I don't think so either.
I think it could have been its own book without,
even mentioning what it was inspired by. Honestly, they could have changed all of the names and I would have never connected what it was inspired by. So,
but today
on this wonderful episode of
Story on the day of our daughter's wedding, Are we mafiosos?
Apparently, yes.
Today, on the day of our daughter's wedding, the day of the Lord, we are going to be talking about Hooked by
Emily McIntire. Mm-hmm. Which, okay, we have done a dark romance before. We did Haunting, Addie the Baddie, and we did Den of Vipers.
Can I tell you, I knew we were going to read a dark romance, but for some reason when I picked it up, and it was a dark romance, completely threw me off.
Really?
Freaking the rails and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I was scared.
Why were you scared?
Because it was a dark romance and people started getting hurt.
Were you know what? I'm not going to ask that question. But I hope that you had an open mind when you were reading it. Because I know that dark romances aren't really like our thing, usually. But I mean, it was different.
It was different.
So before we get deeper into the episode, before we get to the spoiler bits,
I
am going to give a quick summary of what Hooked is about.
Okay.
And honestly, the summary that I wrote this time is a little bit more detailed than normally. Normally, my summaries are like a sentence or two. But this one, it's got a little bit of love in it. Hooked is a story inspired by Peter Pan, where our main character known as Hook is seeking revenge on Peter Michaels because he is responsible for the death of his parents. With his parents gone, he was forced to survive with an abusive uncle that introduced him to the life of crime. Now, as an adult and a well-known criminal in the criminal world, he is ready to destroy Peter Michaels by hurting what he loves most, which is his beautiful daughter, Wendy Michaels.
Damn, that's a good summary.
Thank you. So I would definitely recommend this if you're into
Dark romance.
If you're into dark romance or if you're into misunderstandings.
Misunderstandings. Would you also consider this forbidden love?
Yes, I would.
Love at first sight?
Yes, I would actually. Was it love or was it lust at first sight?
I don't know, but whatever it was, he was hooked.
Oh, oh, okay.
Thank you. I thought about that all night.
Like, what's going to be my joke during that episode? So we would definitely recommend it. And also, this book is also very smutty. So
yeah, it's very spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like spice, don't read this book, please.
Not at all, please. You will skip half of it.
Okay, so why don't we talk about the characters just to get to know them a little more. Let's talk about Wendy, our girl, main girl.
Our love interest.
19?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
So Wendy Michaels is the daughter of Peter Michaels, and Peter Michaels is the owner of
Neverland. The airline's called Nevair.
Okay, yeah.
Like Neverland, Neverland.
Nevair, whatever. Yes, that. And she is someone who is seen as super innocent, super sweet. She's a very good girl because her image is very important because her dad is someone who's very important. So she's never gotten into any trouble. Yeah. But she does have friends who are like, Wendy, baby, let's go to the club. Let's go to the bar. And so she does get into peer pressure a little bit, and she does end up going to a bar. And that's when, the meet cute happens.
A meet cute?
Well, I mean, okay. It's kind of a meet cute.
It's not that cute.
It's a little cute. But she is just someone who really cares about her family. She has a brother named Jonathan. And so it's just her and her little brother, Jonathan, and she just feels very responsible for him because they don't have a mother. This story also felt very like Sunshine meets Grumpy, Bad Boy meets Good Girl, and it completely rocks her world. So I would say I felt like she was pretty consistent in her character, but when she got a little bit deeper into her feelings for Hook, there was definitely a switch. It was definitely like, okay, well, you know what? I do really like this guy, so it's okay.
Yeah. But she still remained innocent in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. How did you feel about her as a character?
I really liked her character. I thought she was really interesting, and I really felt for her and her relationship for her brother because she did not want to lose her brother.
Yeah.
But her dad did not give a fuck about Jonathan, and he was like, you know what? All of a sudden, he doesn't fit in this castle. I have to send him to boarding school. And so I really felt for her in moments like that.
I really appreciated her too. I liked her too. But I appreciated that they made her so motherly and protective. And she also didn't allow herself to become greedy or spoiled. Even though her dad had money and she didn't need to work, she worked like a horrible customer service job.
Oh, yeah. She was still working at like a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And she would always make it to her shifts. And even her friends who weren't in the same, tax bracket, they were still very like, why are you even here, girl? You have the money. But she wanted to be independent.
Yes, I appreciated that so much about her. I think I did like her too. She did remain consistent throughout the story. I like how she's very aware of her situation.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire story.
Yeah.
She even jokes about it later. But I don't want to get into that yet.
All right, we can talk about that later.
Okay. Why don't we talk about our boy James, which, I'm sorry, I mean Hook.
Yeah, Hook.
His name is James, but he goes by Hook.
Or at least the people in the criminal world call him Hook.
Because he's a little bit of a baddie, but also a businessman.
Yeah, honestly.
He does a lot of illegal activity in order to stay afloat with money. And it's a life that he was born into. I mean, he used to live with his uncle who sold drugs, but he was very abusive. Yeah. And you know what? Hook was like, you know what? I'm not down for you. Fucking kills that man.
Yeah.
Kills his Theo.
Well, before he kills his Theo, he does meet somebody. He meets Rufus. And Rufus was actually someone who didn't like Hook's uncle.
Yeah.
But Hook ends up following Rue after like a scuffle that he witnessed. And he was like, you know, I'm going to follow this man. And I can't remember if he followed him just because he was curious, he wanted to kill him or what. But then eventually Rue does take him in and he becomes kind of like a father figure for him.
And because of this, he follows in Rufus's footsteps and becomes a very independent person, very cold, doesn't really trust easily, and will do anything to get what he wants. So Rufus owns this bar called, what is it called? He owns a bar, okay? Just know that he owns a bar. And that is where Hook usually hangs out. The way our characters meet is going to be at this bar because, remember, Wendy's friends want to go take her clubbing. So they are going to meet here. But I did actually really like Hook. I like that, remember, it's a dark romance. I like that no matter what, he will not change what he wants. And it really sucks because then he starts building relationships with, Wendy, with someone he doesn't want to hurt. But at the same time, he can't change what he's been working towards, which has been his revenge.
Right, because Peter Michaels took his family from him. And he's like, I'm going to hit him where it hurts.
I really liked him.
Yeah, I really liked his chapters too. I thought that it was really well executed. And I liked that he remained consistent. I mean, you could tell that he was interested in Wendy, and he was very like, oh my god, she's so sweet. I'm like,
I know,
unlike other girls, but I did like that through those emotions, he was still like, you know what, I gotta kill this man though. There was a part where he thought to himself, I really like this girl, but you know what, it's gonna suck when I have to like send her back broken to her family.
But a bitch gotta do what a bitch gotta do.
Exactly.
Before we talk about their relationship, we didn't even talk about what we feel about it.
What do you mean?
We didn't.
Oh.
Yes, so we don't know how.
I forgot about that.
We don't know how each.
So Cheli and I don't know how the other person feels about any of the stories that we talk about because we like to keep the mystery. And I think it's fun, like to see how we think the other person feels and then to be,
Yeah, so before we keep going, I want you to guess. What did I feel about this story?
Okay, so I know you don't really like dark romances, so I'm going to guess that you gave it a 4 because, we already started talking about it, so I'm just going to guess you gave it a 4.
Why?
Because I feel like maybe you were piqued. You were interested.
I was interested.
Interested enough to stay in it.
Okay. I think you were hella into it. Okay. And I don't think this is your favorite dark romance that we've read. But I do think you're also
because we've read so many of them.
I think you're also going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe. Please wait. So that's my guess, but please give it a 4. So I can be right.
If we're best friends, then give it a 4.
Where are we? It's funny because I feel like I've been guessing like way off, and you've been on it.
Yeah, I've been a little bit better today.
Who knows?
You're going to be like, I was going to give it a 4, but now I'm going to give it a
3.9.
1. Give it a 1.7.
Negative 4. Okay, but why don't we talk about Hook? Well, so why don't we go back and talk about James, which is Hook. James Hook.
That's not his last name.
James Hook. Why don't we talk about Hook and Wendy's relationship?
Okay, why don't you go ahead and start?
Well, remember, they meet at the club. And it's because
they meet clubbing.
He's already clubbing. He's voguing. And it's like, oh my God, look at this man.
Look at this hot, sexy man.
I thought only I vogued. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like two a man and a woman who are sitting at a bar and they're not facing each other, so they're facing this way, and both of them say to like whoever they're with separately, not even in the same conversation, consider my oingos officially boingos. And then they look at each other and they're like, what? And then they start making out. So that's how Hook and Wendy meet.
That's not how they meet. You know what? Maybe I should start it because that's not what happened.
So Hook. So the way that Hook and Wendy meet is at Rue's bar.
Yeah. And
it's because this is Hook's meeting place with all of the people that he works with.
And it's Rue's bar.
Yeah.
And that's his guy.
So Hook hears about 3 underage girls that have brought fake IDs to try to get into this bar. And he's like, okay, who are these people that are trying to get into my bar? And he looks at them and he's just starstruck by Wendy, like the most innocent looking girl who does not look like she should go clubbing. And he's like, that girl?
Gonna be mine.
I fucking love her already.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he was immediately horny.
And it's so funny too because Wendy's friend, Maria, I think that was her name, is like, I'm here for Hook. He's like, we have something.
Yeah.
We have something.
Yeah.
But it's like, nope. Hook immediately goes up to Wendy and is like, oh my gosh, what is a beauty like you doing here? You know?
Well,
Something
their
along those
first
lines.
meet is actually kind of funny because she was going to the restroom and she bumps into him and she said, oh, fuck, or something like that. She says a bad word. And he's like, such a pretty face with such a filthy mouth.
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
my
that's how it
gosh.
starts.
So they meet and then, you know, it just kind of ends. And the next day when Wendy's at work, Hook actually goes to her job and officially asks her out, right?
Kind of, but he pretty much saves her from an embarrassment because she is the only person at the coffee shop and then she's completely having an off day. And then this other guy is there and he's being super rude to her and he's like, oh my God, you can't do anything right because I guess she like slipped and dropped his drink. And then Hook shows up and he's like, is that any way to talk to a lady?
Yeah.
And so he kind of intimidates the guy into leaving. And I do think he might have asked her out, but I don't think she said yes at this point.
I don't think she did either. But okay. They keep meeting like this and you're right. It isn't until she goes to the club again where Maria's like, where the fuck is Hook?
Yeah.
And Hook finally approaches Wendy and it's just like, oh, Wendy.
Yeah, he's like, he's described as someone who just won't take his eyes off of her.
Yes.
It's like a very like possessive sort of way. And so he like is standing on her side, only looking at her, not even looking at her friend. So Maria is immediately like, what the fuck? That was my man, bitch.
I know. And you know what I fucking hated?
What?
After Hook leaves, Maria's just like, oh, he's not going to want to stay with you. So after he's done with you, can I like take him?
I know. Like, can I have like sloppy seconds? Like, that's so gross.
That's so gross.
She was such a bad friend too, by the way.
But look, this is like the perspective of Wendy, who's like, oh my gosh, this guy keeps approaching me and he's like attractive. And if you listen to the audiobook, he has an accent. Hello.
Oh my God. A plus?
But Hook does know who Wendy is. She's Wendy Michaels, related to Peter Michaels.
He's known the entire time.
Yeah. And he just wants her in order to destroy her, basically. Like sleep with her, go to an event where Peter Michaels can see both of them together, just so that he knows what he's done to his daughter, and then leave her.
Yeah.
That is really the only thing. But he also kind of feels a certain way where like, oh, well, she's really pretty, so it's going to be fun. But
I mean, he is kind of excited for what he's planning on doing.
yeah. But then he starts doing things that are like uncharacteristically, like, or uncharacteristic of him, I guess. Which is like when her brother is going to boarding school, he says that he'll go with them.
Yeah, but it kind of just came out because I think at that point they had already slept together. And then he was like, I'll go with you. And then as soon as he said it, he was like, wait, why did I say that? I don't even know you like that girl.
Wait, why did I already rent a car? Like,
why is it already on in the driveway?
Wait, why are we halfway there?
and so Wendy is... Also, we should mention that Wendy feels very neglected by her father.
Yes.
And she really loves that Hook almost takes on the role of a dad.
Yeah, in a weird way.
Or just, you know, someone who just takes care of her. And that's something that she's always really wanted because her dad is always constantly busy. And he doesn't really make time for her or her brother. And so when Hook offered to drive them or to just be there, she was really surprised by it. And it really meant a lot to her.
So before the twist in the story... Before that happens, how did you feel about their relationship?
I was in it. I was so excited. I really like the type of stories where I don't know exactly what the trope is. I feel like there's a trope name for it, but it's essentially when you're trying to get revenge on a family, but then you fall in love with a family member. I really like that trope because it was in the telenovela Rebelde. Remember? I told you about it. You've never seen it.
But it's also in Teresa and Ruby.
No.
Teresa, yes. Teresa, yes.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess not. I guess it's more Rebelde. You're right. Teresa's more just like rich poor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
So I was just excited to see where this story was going. Was not expecting where it went, but I was excited for the ride.
Yeah, and I was down. I was down. Okay, I thought that their relationship was cute. Like I said, I didn't think it was gonna be that much of a dark romance until the twist, which is right after Jonathan, which is Wendy's little brother, is left at boarding school. There's like a phone call that happens between that where Rufus is like, I fucking need your help, Hook. Where are you? And he's like,
Rufus is, remember, the mentor.
Yes.
And dad figure.
Yes, of Hook. And Hook's like, I'm with my girl Wendy right now, but I will be there. Just, wait for me. Don't go in alone. Wait for me. Well, Rufus does go in alone. And when Hook comes back and leaves Wendy at home, he figures out that Rufus, his father figure, was killed. And
very brutally killed.
Yes.
He actually finds the body. And he has to, like, take down the body because it was kind of, like, hanging in a very gory way. And that moment was honestly heartbreaking. I was really sad.
And it clicked in his mind that the only person... I don't remember why it clicked like this.
So far in the story, there had been talks of this kind of like disparity of gang leaders and who was following them and who was betraying them. And so Rue had a big following, but people were betraying him because apparently there was a new person around. And people would say that it was a woman.
Yes.
And so Hook heard this and immediately he thought it was Peter Michael's girlfriend, assistant, whatever she was.
Tina Bell, yeah.
Tinkerbell, thank you. And so he, in this moment when he's heartbroken, he starts to realize maybe it's Wendy.
Because she was the only other woman that popped up when they said that. Because when they did mention that, like, there's a woman in here, Wendy happened to be there, but because they were going to meet up. So it kind of started clicking together like, wait.
Things were just a little bit too coincidental.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, because he did bump into her after that whole situation.
But he didn't even, like, hesitate.
He didn't even ask her. He was too heartbroken. He was like, hell no.
She was at home feeling herself like, I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
It was her birthday.
Yeah.
And she was alone on her birthday.
And Hook comes in and is like, you know what, Wendy? You are that bitch. And kidnaps her. And basically holds her hostage because of him thinking that she was the reason that Rue died. How did you feel then?
I was so confused. This was the part where it was like losing me a little bit. I was like, wait, what? Because before this moment, she had made a joke of like, it's not like you're going to kidnap me.
Yeah, it's going to be like Stockholm Syndrome.
Right. That was like their first date. She made that joke. So when that actually happened, I was like, wait, that was foreshadowing?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like foreshadowing. So it really took me out a little bit. But you know what? I stayed.
You stayed.
I stayed in it.
When that happened, I was like, okay, this is the type of book it is.
You just kind of have to accept it.
Exactly. So when that happened, I was open-minded. I was open. It's not my type of story. I usually don't read dark romances.
I know. When I got to that part, I was like, I feel like Cheli's going to hate this book.
I was just curious with like, okay, what can he possibly do in order for her to fall in love again?
Yeah.
Because he's obviously going to figure out later that it wasn't her. And she's going to be probably like kidnapped and tortured. And he's going to be like, oh, fuck. Sorry.
My bad, babe.
I know it was on your birthday too.
I thought you killed my daddy.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
Wait, forgive me, maybe? Forgive me? And it's like, okay, what the fuck is he going to do to make this better? But she's kidnapped. And it sucks because like the people she was friendly with that worked at the bar now are treating her like shit.
Do you mean
there was
the coffee shop?
Yeah, the coffee. No, not the coffee shop.
Oh, you're talking about his people.
His people. Because there was the person who worked the front. Yes. What was his name again?
Cole?
Kale.
I
would have believed Kale, like the leafy stuff. I feel like he's probably an important name we should know.
Okay. And can you look up the girl's name too? Because I can't remember. Is it Michaela? I don't know.
Moira.
Oh, Moira. Yes, Moira.
Curly.
Oh, Curly. Was it Curly?
Yeah, it was. Well, there was a guy. I think his name was Curly. He was the one who worked behind the bar, and he was really sweet when Wendy had first met him. But then when Wendy's like, "I don't want to eat your food," she spits, and he's like, "Okay, well, go fucking die."
Yeah,
because I don't fucking care.
Because she's still being held hostage, so her arms are bound.
And then Moira's there, who is a lady who also works at the bar,
and she sleeps with Hook a
occasionally.
lot. But that was before Wendy.
But she'll still mention, like, I was just out there riding Hook's dick. I mean, sorry.
Oh.
Doing taxes.
My bad.
My bad.
We were just playing poker. Strip poker.
And she'll constantly bring things up like this. And Wendy's, like, kidnapped. So it's a little off-putting. I don't even remember how Hook and Wendy's interaction is the first time after she's kidnapped.
He forces her to go to a party.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like a little gathering where Peter Michaels will be at. And so Hook is like, okay, we got to get the ball rolling. So you're going to do exactly as I say. You're going to look absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to take you to this party and your dad's going to see me.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell him.
Yeah. So they go to this party and the dad.
Which, by the way, can we mention that Wendy has been missing for like, a week at this point?
Yeah.
And it was days after her birthday.
And also, it was the day that the dad was like, we're going to install cameras.
Yeah.
So to keep you safe, The same fucking day she was kidnapped. Where are the cameras, Dad? And the fact that he never went home to check.
Yeah,
because he never goes home.
Yeah. So he was supposed to stop by at their place to celebrate her birthday a little bit, but he, I guess, was a little busy, so he didn't show up.
Very busy. So they show up at the party, and Peter sees that Hook and Wendy are together, and he's like, "Wait, Wendy, sweetie,
baby,
what are you doing here?"
Yeah,
and it's like, I'm just, I'm with him. I'm with this man right here.
And at this point, we should also mention that Wendy has suspicions that her dad did something really wrong.
Yes.
For Hook to react the way that he did, because she sees him as someone who treated her so well. Like, no one had ever treated her as well as Hook did. Yes. And so she is convinced, oh, my dad must have done some fucked up shit.
Something. So she shows up at this party and she starts acting really rude towards her dad because he starts acting like, you're not supposed to be with him.
Yeah, he's treating her like a baby. And
it's like, well, what the fuck, Dad? I was fucking kidnapped. Do you ever ask where I was for 2 weeks?
Well, she didn't say kidnapped, but yeah.
But, she's basically saying like, oh, you know who Hook is, right? He's the guy who fucked me. Yeah. So are you mad that he fucked me? And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, one of the characters said popped her cherry. I don't remember who said it.
Hook said it first, and then Peter says, well, why are you with him? It's like, well, didn't you hear what he said? He popped my cherry. Yeah. Oh my God, I fucking love that. By the way, I freaking love that she was standing up to her dad and Hook was like, damn, I told you to act it out, babe, but come on.
Babe, sit down. Well, you're embarrassing me in front of all my friends.
But it was really like, oh my God, she's like talking back to her dad, and I freaking love that. But near the end, Hook does threaten to kill Peter. In a way. I don't remember what he says.
Yes.
But it's a threat. And immediately Wendy's like, don't kill my dad. I don't want you to kill my dad. No. I know I told him that I popped my cherry, but don't kill my dad. And then so Hook is like, well, what if, I kill you? In a way, he
so in a way, he threatens her instead, and Peter doesn't do shit.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, Wendy, take this moment and see how you were willing to protect your dad, but your dad was willing to let you die so that he can leave.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Wow, hold on, my eyes were wide open.
Why were they open, Bruno Mars?
Oh my, I was not thinking that. Uh-huh.
But she goes back, and now she's a little reflective, Well,
okay, we're talking about their relationship right now.
Yeah, we are.
So.
How did you feel about the relationship by this point?
I was still in it. I was still here.
You were?
I was here. I was like, you know what? He may have pulled because he like yanked her back, grabbed her hair and yanked her back in front of Peter Michaels. At that moment, I was like, okay, maybe don't be a little rough on her. I don't know.
Then she was kind of rough.
True. She was rough too, but it's okay. I was still in it because I really wanted to see the outcome. I really wanted to see how they ended up executing this revenge.
Okay, so you were in.
I was in. Mm-hmm.
I was in too. I was still in.
You're still in? I think... Okay, interesting. I didn't think you'd still be in.
I think I really liked her standing up to her dad.
That was funny.
And I think that I really liked seeing seeing her realize that her dad doesn't care about her. Because it sucks because she always waited on him. And she always expected him to come. So it's really nice to be like, wait, he is a fucking bitch. And men don't mean shit. You know, and
okay, Doja Cat. And the thing that I really felt for her character was that her dad and her used to be so close when she was younger. She was even called his little shadow, which is exactly why Hook went after her, because in the newspapers and in the media, everyone would call her his little shadow. And so he was like, oh, she's so important to him then.
Yes.
But she had been neglected by her dad for so long that she had finally reached a point where enough's enough. Why don't we talk about the conclusion of the story?
Okay, wait.
Oh.
Okay, before we talk about the conclusion of the story, I think it would be nice to talk about the person who's helping Hook hold her hostage.
Yeah.
So there is a person who keeps watch on Wendy when she is kidnapped, and his name is Smee. And I didn't know what he looked like. How did you imagine he looked like?
Well, Smee in Peter Pan is a tiny old man.
Okay,
so that's how I
knew
pictured
it. I've never seen Peter Pan.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, wait. You know what? I shouldn't even be surprised because I feel like you haven't seen a lot of Disney movies.
Yeah.
You weren't a Disney girl.
I wasn't a Disney girl. I was only specifically a Shrek girl.
That's not Disney.
I know. That's the only thing I watched as a kid. I'm sorry.
Okay, but so, Smee. Well, before I explain Smee, let me just say that they live in a boat.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. So Smee is somebody who Hook saw on the streets, and he was just someone who was abandoned by his family. And so Hook took pity on him, and he took him into his home, and he was like, you know what, Smee, you can. This space is both of ours. Yeah, just live here.
Smee and Hook, Smuck. It's like,
wait. Oh my god.
Wait, okay.
This is cute. Should look at the fanfics after. And so Smee was completely loyal to him, and he took care of Wendy when she was being held hostage in Hook's home.
Okay.
And there was a moment in the story when Smee had a clock. Now, Hook had this trigger with clocks because it reminded him of his abusive uncle. So anytime he would hear a loud clock, his mind would just freaking lose itself.
He couldn't function because he was like, who the fuck has that clock?
Yeah, and so
fucking loud.
And so he had to get rid of it. And so Smee was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll just throw it overboard. No big deal. And then as the story progresses near the end, turns out Smee was actually behind everything.
Yeah, so he was the reason that Rue died. He had Moira working against Hook. And it's so heartbreaking because this was his right-hand guy, but it goes deeper than that too. Because
there's a bigger plot twist.
The reason Smee did this was because the uncle at the beginning, the abusive uncle that Hook killed, that was his fucking dad.
That was his daddy.
That was his papa,
so
right?
Smee and Hook are cousins? But Smee's an old man. I guess he's not.
I know. Young Smee. It was a young Smee. Yeah. Young, handsome Smee.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he isn't handsome. But just like, not my type. Okay, I don't know why I'm going so deep into this. Okay, let's just
next topic.
So, so Smee's the one behind this, okay? And at this point, it's so apparent, well, at least when I was reading it, it should now be completely apparent to Hook, okay, Wendy's not behind any of this. I fucking fucked up. I was hoping that there would be an apology.
I don't think I thought he realized it before this. Because Wendy was kidnapped.
Oh, you're right. He did realize it before this, but I wish there would have been like an apology. But at this point, when it's revealed, him and Wendy are together.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, they're together.
Because they also did have a moment before this.
Yes.
Before the kidnapping happened, where they were like, okay, I do like you.
I kind
maybe.
like you. Don't make it weird, though.
Don't bring it up to my friends.
Well, bring it up to your dad, maybe.
Me?
It's every part of it's like... Every part of him is embarrassed. He's like completely like his body is like right here. It's cut in half. Gosh,
just all going in.
Yeah. Wow, he's very embarrassed. But they're together, and I really wish that he would have apologized. But it's a dark romance, and she doesn't even fucking care.
No,
I'm surprised she doesn't care. But it's because she does have father issues.
Daddy issues.
So it kind of shows in the way that she really loves Hook because it feels like she's very forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't deal with that.
I get it though.
How did you feel when they were together? Were you down for it?
I was still down because I really liked them together. I thought, you know what? Dark romance. I knew that there was no apology. I didn't really even expect an apology.
Okay.
I thought it was just going to be like, let's just have sex. All right, cool.
Oh,
and that's, babe, and that's the apology. With his penis.
Aw, babe, with his penis and his very strong hands. So
yeah, he has 2 hands, okay?
2 hands that she likes to be choked with. Wendy. Hello.
Wendy, are you okay? Dude, yeah, near asphyxiation.
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, when they first met and were first dating and he touched her, he asked her, how do you like to touch yourself? And I thought this was going to be one of those moments where it's like, oh, a demonstration. She's like, fucking choke me, bitch. And it's like, okay.
He's like, you know what? I'm going to take you back to the bar.
I don't like choking, maybe.
I'm uncomfortable.
I'll do it. I saw this YouTuber once talk about how when he was like in a relation with someone, a sexual relation, the girl had asked him like, oh, can you slap me? And he's like, I'm not really down for it. I'm not really down. So she slapped herself. So I was kind of expecting what if Hope didn't want to, and it's like, I'll do it. And she just like chokes herself out.
She blacks out.
Oh my god.
Damn.
It was kind of, you know, no judgment, but it was kind of thrown in there. So it threw me off that every time they had sex, it would be like, okay, I'm gonna hold my breath now. And it's like,
please breathe.
I'm kind of scared you won't make it. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, you keep saying,
were you still down or not?
Yeah, I was still down. I hated that there was an apology. I'm a little curious, and you need to answer honestly.
Okay.
You keep saying I was still in it. Is there a part where you weren't in it?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, this is a little awkward. So let's talk about the end then.
Okay.
So it's revealed that Peter Michaels, even though Wendy is like his girl, his daughter, Jonathan, who is Peter Michaels' supposed son, isn't the son. So Wendy's mom, who had tragically died in a car accident, allegedly. It turned out it wasn't a car accident. Peter Michaels killed his own wife because she had relations with a man and had 2 sons. One that was Jonathan and one that was Hook.
Right, but Jonathan is still younger.
Yeah. When that was revealed.
Oh, okay. So the fact that Jonathan and Hook are related, I don't remember Jonathan's age though, but he is younger.
Yes, but because of that, what does that make him and Wendy?
They're not.
They're not related. I know that.
No, they're not related.
But what does that make them?
They're not.
In a way,
they're not related.
Okay, but if they share the same mom.
They don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Wait, hold on. Then who's Wendy's mom? Because Wendy's mom is the one that Peter killed because she had slept with another guy. So they share this.
Yeah, but the guy had another girl. They shared a dad. No, sorry. They shared a dad. Hook and Jonathan only share a dad.
But no, I know that. I'm so confused. Wait,
okay,
can I draw it out for you?
Let me draw it for you, okay? Okay, so go. A is Wendy's mom. B is Wendy's dad. Okay. So Peter Michaels. Okay, those are her parents. So A is her mom. Her mom sleeps with another guy. C. That makes Jonathan.
And Hook.
No. Why would they have the same mom? They have the same dad. The dad, C, sleeps with another woman, and that's
I was
Hook's
so scared. You know what? You just changed my rating right there. Because I thought...
Why would you think that I would be okay with this?
That's why I was like, you kept saying still. I was like, oh yeah, that threw her off too. I thought they were fucking related.
No.
Oh my god, consider my oingo's officially boingoed. That's fucking wild. Oh my god, you like say, whoa. I'm new. My third eye is wide open.
Why would
They're not related.
They're not related. No.
I thought they were.
It's just that it is a little interesting that Hook, Jonathan, and Wendy are all kind of like...
Well, you want to know something too? I thought they were related because there was this line that I misunderstood, but now I guess I understand it. It was near the end in Wendy's perspective when she thinks, it's odd knowing that James and I share a brother. But now that he's out of Rockford Prep and living with us on the yacht, I'm excited for them to get to know each other, to love each other as much as I love both of them. And I was like... Isn't that a little weird? I have a brother and a boyfriend. So I was like, Wendy.
It's like, we're not brothers, we're just stepbro.
But it's still weird. It's still weird to me because it's going to be like, I don't know. Jonathan's gonna be at the dinner table and it's like, can my sibling please pass me the salt? And both of them are gonna be like, well, which bitch is he talking about? Can the sibling who shares my blood please pass the salt? And it's like, what do we do, Wendy?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like this twist.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's something that would ruin the book for me. It's just...
I'm still kind of weirded out.
But they're not related.
I know they're not, but it's still weird. It's still weird.
It's at the end. What does it matter?
It matters to me because there's another book. Scarred. Isn't it Scarred?
They're all standalones. This is the ending of this book.
What?
This is the ending of this book. Scarred is the Lion King one.
There's a Lion King one? Scar. Oh my god. You're like blowing my fucking mind. My oingos are boingos. This is so wild.
Yeah.
So they're not related.
They're not related. Hello?
I'm gonna cry.
Why would I be that excited about a story where they're related?
I don't know. Oh my gosh, we've reached the end of us talking about this story. I'm gonna fucking cry.
Wait, hold on. Before we reach the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were your overall thoughts?
Oh no, that's what I was getting to. You're blowing my mind right now. I had a certain view on it because I thought they were related. And I thought it was like a Star Wars Leia Luke moment. And I was like,
that's what you thought?
That's what I thought. So I was like, okay, maybe they're going to have to, like, in the next book, called Scarred because he's scarred, not because Mufasa's scarred. I thought he was scarred. I thought it was going to be, no, Mufasa and Scarred. That's what I meant.
Why are you mad at me?
I'm sorry, that was our first public fight. Anyway.
We don't have that many privately.
We don't have
any.
Yeah. I thought that the next book was going to be about them having to deal with their feelings, but also being related. That's what I thought where this was going. And I was like, I'm not going to pick up the next book because they're related. And that's a little weird to me. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Uh-huh. Okay. Now that they're not related. Uh-huh. It's still weird to me that they share a brother and that Wendy's like, oh, that's so fucking rad. I'm not a fan of that. The spice level, probably like a 3. It was a lot reading it, but there wasn't really that much of it.
There wasn't a lot of spice, honestly. But it was kind of intense because of the choking. Yeah.
Oh my god. I think overall I would give this story maybe like a 2.5 out of 5.
Really? What was it going to be? A 1?
It was going to be a 1 because they were related, but they're not. You heard it here, folks. They're not related.
Don't worry.
Everyone listening is like, thank God.
I was here worried about it.
Princess Leia and Luke moment.
I know.
No. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't my favorite read.
Okay.
What about you?
I really enjoyed this story. I was hooked. No pun intended.
Wow.
I literally read it one morning. I finished it the same day.
Really?
I was so into the story. I could not put it down. I needed to know what happened next. Then again, I'm really into like revenge stories like this.
Yeah.
Because I think they're kind of juicy, maybe a little bit.
Just want to say, I also finished it in one day, so.
Yeah, but our perspectives were very different.
Yeah, because I thought they were related.
And they're not.
But you were into it.
I was so into it, and I knew immediately that they weren't related. But anyway, I really liked the romance. I liked the dark romance. I was in it. I don't really typically read dark romance, but I was here for it. And actually, it is my favorite dark romance that we've read.
Oh my God.
This is only the third one, so it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Oh my God. What did I say we were going to give it a 4?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. My oingos were boingoed. Oh my God. I can't believe I read that. Now that
I know. Reading it, I was like, Cheli's not going to be into this.
Wait. Not to like, put myself in a weird situation, but is Scarred, are they humans?
Yeah, they're humans. Well, obviously.
I thought they were.
Oh, and now you're less excited about it because
I didn't say anything. I just asked. I knew I shouldn't have it. Maybe I should have just looked it up.
No, because we all know you're a furry.
I'm not a furry. You're making me nervous.
A little bit. Only poquito.
I'm not a furry. This is my public statement that I'm not a furry.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that?
But even if I was.
Even if I was, what's wrong with that? I keep joking about it. It's kind of like how I kept joking about hating or loving Den of Vipers.
And now it became real.
That I think I love it. So I'm not sure.
But you're sure about the furry part.
Okay, so I think we're done.
I think we've reached the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm shocked that this is a 5 out of 5 for you.
I loved this book. I did not like the ending though, but...
You're okay. Like everything else was good that you're okay with the ending.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, for all of you who are watching, thank you so much. For any of you who are listening to us in audio form, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere else you get your podcasts on, thank you. If you can leave a review and a rating of 5 out of 5 stars.
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
We'd really appreciate it.
Of course. And in your review, if you can just let us know, did you think they were related? I can't have been the only one who thought they were related. Come on.
Probably not.
And if you can please tell your friends, your family, your loved ones, your hated ones.
Your enemies.
Your didn't know we were related, but related ones about us. That would be amazing because the best way to get exposure is through word of mouth. If you are watching us on YouTube, hello and thank you. If you can like, comment, and subscribe to us and also hit that notification bell because it really helps with analytics. We are also trying to grow on social media.
And we're doing really well so far.
Yeah, on TikTok and on Instagram. If you want to follow us, it is at Story and Things, at StoryandThings. Thank you. So at the end of each episode, we like to roll a dice, and whatever it lands on, we're going to read a Goodreads comment. So if it lands on an odd number, we are going to read a negative Goodreads comment. If it lands on an even number, we're going to read a positive Goodreads comment. We're just going to leave it in the air. We're not connected or affiliated with the person who reviewed. We do not agree or disagree with what they said.
Just leaving it in the air.
Yes. So your number for this week is a 6. Positive.
Okay. So this review was written by Larissa, and they rated it a 4 out of 5, and they write, "Y'all, I've been a whore for Captain Hook since Once Upon a Time, and let's just say after this book, I continue to be a whore for Captain Hook. The idea of having a series of reimagined, fractured fairy tales dedicated to villains getting their happy endings? Yes, please. And starting out with my favorite villain of all time? Yes, please. Hook was everything I've ever wanted. I love the little bits of the original Peter Pan story thrown in there, and the spice was chef's kiss. The only reason this isn't a 5-star was because I didn't love Wendy all that much until her badass moment at the end, and the conflict resolution felt a bit rushed and wrapped up a little too fast. But I said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm a whore for Captain Hook."
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, we're done.
We're done.
We're done. How do you feel? You're sad?
Sad.
Why?
Because you don't know Peter Pan.
I'm sorry.
How does that feel?
Not knowing Peter Pan?
Yeah.
I used to think, let me be honest, I thought I knew Peter Pan, but then I realized he's not Robin Hood.
You thought he was Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Why? Because they're both wearing green?
Yeah.
But one of them flies.
But you know what I have watched? I watched Hook with Robin Williams. Does that count for anything? Does that help me at all?
I guess I could do kind of brownie points.
Thank you. Why doesn't it seem like I know about The Lion King? Can I read Scarred? Okay.
Well, you read Hugged.
I feel like people are gonna judge me. What if they're related?